What's up? My name's Alex Majewski. I also go by Jay Sky. When it wasn't cool to like pop punk. When we barely used computers because dial-up took longer than our ADHD could wait for. MySpace literally wouldn't load because of all the fancy decorations on the home pages. We would go to our friends' pages and it would just literally freeze in time while it was loading like 9 pictures of the same cars, crazy fonts, sparkles. Back to when we actually had to leave the house to see our friends. We had to literally leave and knock on our friends' doors if we actually wanted to hang out. Crazy, right? In the late 90s, we bent genres to new extremes that we've never seen before. But by the time I was in middle school, the dust had cleared and it was time to pick a side. If you didn't, you were at risk of being a poser. You were either too hip-hop, too pop, too punk, not punk enough, whatever it was, you were fucked. In the late 90s, we'd bent genres so much with things like nu metal. By the time I was in middle school, the dust had finally cleared and it was time to pick a side. If you didn't, you were at risk of being a poser.
I love metal. I grew up like all through middle school, fucking loved metal, and I would get bullied for it, and now I see this thing at nightclubs that puts me up a wall where like cool dudes and stuff will just have this shirt that says Metallica or Iron Maiden. I'm like, you clearly don't know a single song by them, and I will call you out on it.
Blink-182 is even changing their sound. With the self-titled album and the I'm Feeling It single, the corny bands and artists like Good Charlotte and Avril Lavigne were not cool. These acts were trying too hard. They weren't authentic. It was for Hot Topic teeny boppers, wearing those plastic hookup bracelets from Hot Topic.
So were those like the bracelets that mean like you do stuff with guys? Oh, these? I've heard certain colors mean you've done like certain things. Like, are the rumors true?
Yeah, what if they are?
Oh my God, Jess, that's so scandalous. Have you? I mean, I don't kiss and tell.
It was for Hot Topic teeny boppers wearing those stupid hookup bracelets, and me and my friends were way too thug at the time to even consider being a part of it. The stakes were way higher for me. The war between skaters and fruit booters, Tupac and Biggie. Don't ask me which one I was.
Oh shit.
Wearing the freshest Air Force Ones and not getting the creases dirty. And learning every word to Get Rich or Die Trying on CD. Yes, CDs. Don't get me wrong, just 2 years later I started playing guitar and all my influences changed. I started listening to tons of those artists that I would not consider listening to that just weren't cool enough, switching up everything from my hair to my clothes to the style of music, even the friends I was hanging out with. Don't get me wrong, just 2 years later I started playing guitar, changed my hairstyle, started listening to all these bands. What I'm trying to express here is the line in the sand. I was a hip hop kid, and to be listening to Avril Lavigne was just not happening. And by the time I started listening to rock and different types of punk and metal, all of the other kids that I knew were getting into hip hop, artists like Lil Wayne. Indirectly, I became the emo kid, the pop punk kid, the weirdo, whatever it was. I was a musician, my hair was to my shoulders, but I was a little bit ahead of schedule. That wasn't really becoming like a cool in thing at school, and I was pretty much done with high school by the time that even happened. A lot of the acts that I would never even consider listening to or make fun of when I was like in middle school actually became super dope and some of my favorite artists. But it really took other bands like Fall Out Boy, and Avril Lavigne literally was one of my favorites. I was really getting into songwriting. Her songs and production were over the top. Let's not forget about Air Force Ones. Shoes designed to be worn clean only. They are designed to crease, get dirty, and it was like notorious for rappers to be flexing like Fat Joe and MTV Cribs. He's like, I only rock a pair once or twice.
They call me the sneaker king.
And yeah, I had a ton of Air Force Ones, but they literally always looked like shit. You wear them out of the box, they're fresh, and then like 6 hours later, they're disgusting. I think a lot of where this divide stemmed from was just what happened in the late 90s and like the early 2000s. With such a mix of genres and so much extreme stuff, like you had Kid Rock and Limp Bizkit, who were literally hated even though they were popular. They were super duper hated. It just kind of like turn everyone apart. It's like, are you rap, are you rock? Because obviously when we mixed it, shit hit the literal fan. You had acts like Papa Roach, Blink-182, but at this time they're kind of even changing the sound of their stuff. The members are going and doing other projects like Boxcar Racer. You had acts like Dipset, DMX, Eminem, D.O.D. who had a little bit of hip hop in there, but didn't seem like they were faking it because it's just authentic to like where they're from. it really wasn't until like 2005 that pop punk became cool. You had Fall Out Boy with the record From Under the Cork Tree. That was like their first huge mainstream success after Take This to Your Grave. Paramore came out, Yellow Card, and then all of a sudden you had people trading in those old shitty Air Force One crease sneakers, getting some Vans, and they're going to fucking Warped Tour now. Dope. And then we're going into like 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, up to the 15s. Now we're reviving back to the 20s. But in the beginning, it was just posers. And that was my experience. So pretty much what I'm trying to get at is that pop punk wasn't always cool. I know it's the coolest thing now. It's literally my favorite. I tour in a pop punk band. I play pop punk guitar. I write a lot of that music. I produce it. But it wasn't always cool. Pretty much like in the same way that a lot of people are gonna be like, MGK's a big poser. That's like how Good Charlotte was. It's like, that's not what you're about. You're just making it because it's cool to do. And then a lot of the time, those people end up being so influential down the road because the music is genuinely authentic. They're coming from like a pop place for the songwriting and production, which just takes them to that next level. I love underground music. I love mainstream music. And the big takeaway is that what comes out next in popular music is typically stemmed from the underground, but what they're doing is they're taking all of those good habits, they're cleaning it up. They're using song structures, they're making the choruses catchy, they're aligning the verses so they have like equal measures and rhythms, just so it's easier for you to remember and more accessible. And yeah, pop punk wasn't always cool. Fuck what you heard. No. But yeah, pop punk wasn't always cool. It's my favorite. Literally, I'm not trying to throw shade at anybody. All the music that I talked about in this video, I've been a huge fan of at one point or another. In hindsight, it probably would have been a lot easier if I just went with the flow and didn't make it so difficult to have friends all the time. But you can't go back. And yeah, just, I love music in general, alternative hip hop. I hope I could have expressed a little bit of like my growing up and what it was like to be there during that time period. My name's Alex Majewski. I also go by J Sky. Follow me on social media, subscribe on this YouTube channel, J Sky Production, wherever. You could check out some of my music online, whatever it is. I appreciate the support. If you have something specific that I left out, a memory, something like that, just leave it in the comments. Catch me on Instagram. Thank you for the support and have a great day. Peace.